Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce announced their engagement in August 2025, and right now in December 2025, the world is watching their wedding plans unfold. But according to Taylor's brand new Disney Plus docuseries, The End of an Era, which just dropped its final episodes on December 23rd, Taylor was actually deeply reluctant to date Travis at all. Not marry him, date him. And the person who changed her mind was her own mother, Andrea Swift, who basically became the matchmaker that made one of the biggest celebrity relationships of the decade happen. This isn't the fairy tale meet cute everyone thought they were watching, and what Taylor reveals in this docuseries about her hesitation, her doubts, and what finally convinced her to give Travis a chance tells a completely different story than the one we've been seeing play out at NFL games for the past 2 years. Section 1. The docuseries revelation. Disney Plus released Taylor Swift: The End of an Era in December 2025, with the first 2 episodes dropping on December 12th, right before Taylor's 36th birthday on December 13th. The docuseries is 6 episodes total, directed by Don Argot and Sheena Joyce, and it follows Taylor and her entire crew during the Eras Tour, which ended in Vancouver on December 8, 2024. The remaining episodes came out in batches, with episodes 3 and 4 on December 19th. And then Disney moved up the finale, releasing episodes 5 and 6 on December 23rd instead of December 26th, as originally planned. The 3rd and 4th episodes, which arrived on December 19th, contain the bombshell revelations about Taylor's initial reluctance to date Travis. In one scene that's been making headlines all week, Taylor sits down with her mother, Andrea, in what looks like a massive dressing room, and they have this incredibly honest conversation about how their relationship actually started. Taylor's mother literally admits on camera that she played matchmaker, and Taylor confirms that before Travis, she had serious doubts about whether she could ever date an athlete. Here's what Taylor says in the docuseries, and this is a direct quote from episode 4. "I'd been very non-athlete because I'm not one, and I've always just been like, well, what would we talk about?" That's Taylor Swift admitting that she had preconceived ideas about athletes that made her dismiss the possibility of dating one entirely. She genuinely couldn't imagine what she would have in common with someone whose career was so completely different from hers. Andrea Swift then jumps in and describes how she found out about Travis trying to give Taylor a friendship bracelet at the Eras Tour stop in Kansas City in July 2023. Andrea says she was reading headlines during the tour and saw this story about a Kansas City Chiefs player who came to Taylor's show with a friendship bracelet that had his phone number on it. And he wanted to meet Taylor but couldn't, because Taylor doesn't do meet and greets before or after shows to protect her voice. Section 2. Andrea Swift, the matchmaker. This is where the story gets really interesting, because Andrea Swift didn't just passively notice this news story and mention it to Taylor. She actively investigated Travis Kelce to determine whether he was worth her daughter's time. Andrea describes in the docuseries that she immediately called her cousin Robin, who she refers to as her resident expert on the Kansas City Chiefs. That detail alone is fascinating because it means Andrea has family members who are serious Chiefs fans, and she knew exactly who to ask for the inside scoop on Travis. Andrea recalls the conversation with her cousin Robin in the docuseries, and Robin's response was apparently exactly what Andrea needed to hear. Robin told Andrea, and this is according to what Andrea says on camera, "Oh my God, he is the nicest guy, and he really loves his mom." Andrea's reaction to that information was immediate. She says in the docuseries, and I went, ding, 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 ding. Basically indicating that those 2 facts, that Travis was nice and loved his mother, were the green lights she needed to push Taylor toward giving him a chance. But here's the complicating factor. Taylor wasn't immediately on board with this plan. She describes in the docuseries how her mother called her with a very specific tone, a tone that Andrea apparently uses when she knows Taylor isn't going to react well to what she's about to suggest. Taylor recalls the conversation by saying, "So you call me up with this tone of, hey, I know you're going to not react well to this, but there's a guy." Andrea interrupts her during the docuseries to add, "He's really cute," which got a laugh because Andrea was clearly trying to sell Taylor on the idea. Taylor then reveals what her mother told her that really hit home. She says Andrea said something to the effect of, you gotta start doing something different. That statement is loaded with meaning because it suggests that Andrea had been watching Taylor's pattern of failed relationships, her isolation during the pandemic and the Eras tour, and her general reluctance to put herself out there romantically. And Andrea had decided that intervention was necessary. A mother telling her daughter, "You gotta start doing something different," isn't casual advice, it's a wake-up call. Section 3. Taylor's pattern with relationships. To understand why Andrea felt the need to push Taylor toward dating Travis, you have to look at Taylor's relationship history and what she reveals in other parts of the docuseries about how difficult it's been for her to maintain relationships while touring. In episode 3 of The End of an Era, which also dropped on December 19th, Taylor talks about what she calls a dynamic shift that happened with Travis compared to all her previous relationships. She explains that before Travis, touring always felt like it was taking away from her relationships. She describes it as this constant tension where she felt guilty for being away so much, and her partners at the time seemed to resent the tour schedule, or at least that's how it felt to her. Taylor's relationship with Joe Alwyn, which ended in 2023, lasted 6 years but reportedly struggled, in part because of the distance and her career demands. Before that, she dated Calvin Harris for about a year, Tom Hiddleston for a few months in 2016, and had other relationships that all seemed to end when the demands of her career became too much. Taylor has written extensively about these failed relationships in her albums, and fans have spent years dissecting lyrics trying to figure out what went wrong in each one. What makes Travis different, according to what Taylor says in the docuseries, is that he has his own massive career that requires the same level of commitment and creates the same kind of public attention. She talks about how they both have jobs where they go out in NFL stadiums and we entertain people for 3.5 hours, drawing a direct parallel between her concerts and his football games. This shared experience of performing for massive crowds means Travis understands the pressure and the commitment in a way that her previous partners apparently didn't. Taylor also reveals in the docuseries that she realized Travis was comfortable with what she calls, conceptually speaking, a big life. She says because he has one, and it's not one that he has reluctantly, he's very comfortable with it. That statement suggests that some of her previous partners may have been uncomfortable with the level of fame and attention that comes with dating Taylor Swift, or at least they weren't naturally suited to that kind of public existence. Travis, on the other hand, already lived in that world through his NFL career and his podcast New Heights with his brother Jason, so the attention that came with dating Taylor was just an extension of what he already experienced, not a completely foreign invasion of his privacy. Section 4. The friendship bracelet that started everything? Let's go back to July 2023 when Travis Kelce attended the Eras tour stop in Kansas City. He was already a massive fan of Taylor's music, and he came to the concert with a friendship bracelet, which had become this whole cultural phenomenon associated with the Eras tour. Fans make friendship bracelets with lyrics and song titles and trade them with each other at the concerts. And Travis decided to make one with his phone number on it with the intention of giving it to Taylor. On July 26, 2023, Travis talked about this experience on his podcast New Heights with his brother Jason. He told the story of how he was disappointed that he couldn't meet Taylor before or after the show because she has to save her voice for the performance. Travis said on the podcast, "I was a little butthurt I didn't get to hand her one of the bracelets I made for her. I wanted to give Taylor Swift one with my number on it." That podcast episode got picked up by media outlets, and that's how Andrea Swift found out about Travis's attempt. The story circulated enough that it became a news headline, which is what Andrea saw while she was reading through news during the tour. This is important because it means Travis's interest in Taylor was already public knowledge before they ever actually met or started dating. Travis had essentially shot his shot in the most public way possible by talking about it on his podcast, and the media coverage meant that Taylor and her family couldn't miss it, even if they wanted to. Section 5. How they actually met. The docuseries doesn't go into extensive detail about how Taylor and Travis finally connected after Andrea encouraged Taylor to do something different. But we know from other sources and previous interviews that they started talking privately sometime in the summer of 2023. Travis has mentioned in other interviews that they had a period of getting to know each other before Taylor made her first public appearance at a Chiefs game. Taylor's first public appearance supporting Travis was on September 24, 2023, when she showed up at Arrowhead Stadium in Kansas City to watch the Chiefs play the Chicago Bears. She sat in a suite with Travis's mother, Donna Kelce, and the cameras caught every moment of her reactions during the game. That appearance sent the internet into complete chaos, with every sports broadcast and entertainment outlet covering the story of Taylor Swift dating an NFL player. What's interesting is that Taylor reveals in the docuseries that even after she started dating Travis, she still had doubts about whether it would work long-term because of their different backgrounds and career paths. The "what would we talk about" concern that she mentioned having before they met apparently lingered even as they got to know each other. But according to what she says in The End of an Era, they quickly discovered that they had way more in common than she expected. Section 6, the phone calls in the docuseries. Episodes 1 and 2 of The End of an Era, which premiered on December 12th, include footage of phone calls between Taylor and Travis during the Eras tour. These calls give fans an unprecedented look at their private dynamic, and they show a level of emotional intimacy that explains why Taylor's initial reluctance disappeared once she actually gave Travis a chance. In one phone call shown in episode 1, Travis thanks Taylor for talking with him and tells her she's making my day better. Taylor responds by comparing their conversation to a vitamin drip, saying, "Some people get a vitamin drip. I got this conversation." That kind of language suggests that these phone calls were sustaining her emotionally during the grueling tour schedule, giving her something to look forward to and helping her process the intensity of performing night after night. Another call shown in the docuseries takes place before Taylor's London Eras tour show in June 2024. And in that conversation, they're talking about the fact that Ed Sheeran is going to surprise perform with her. Travis is amazed by how Taylor and Ed can just do a quick backstage rehearsal and then go perform their songs together flawlessly in front of tens of thousands of people. Travis says, "Are you guys so good that you can just do like a quick in the back room rehearsal and then go and do this live in front of everyone?" Taylor turns it around on him by responding, "I love you, I don't know. How do you remember 36,000 plays that are all tactical missions and then just go do it?" She's referring to the complexity of NFL plays and formations that Travis has to memorize and execute under pressure, and her admiration for what he does is obvious in her tone. This mutual respect for each other's professional abilities comes through in these phone calls, and it demonstrates why they work as a couple despite coming from such different worlds. Section 7. Travis joining her on stage in London. One of the most talked about moments from the Eras tour happened on June 23, 2024, during Taylor's London show at Wembley Stadium, when Travis Kelce actually came on stage during her performance. He appeared in a tuxedo and top hat during a skit in the Tortured Poets Department section of the show, and fans absolutely lost their minds seeing an NFL player participate in Taylor's carefully choreographed concert. In episode 4 of The End of an Era, Taylor reveals how that moment came about, and it turns out it started as a joke. She says, "I can't remember how it came up. I think we were just joking around about him doing it. And it became very clear that he, wasn't joking, and I was like, wait, oh, you would do that?" This revelation shows that Travis was genuinely enthusiastic about being part of Taylor's world, not just as a supportive boyfriend watching from the audience, but as an active participant, willing to put himself in an unfamiliar situation to make her happy. The fact that Travis agreed to go on stage in front of 90,000 people at Wembley Stadium, knowing he would be filmed and that clips would go viral, demonstrates a level of comfort with Taylor's career that her previous partners apparently didn't have. It also shows that Travis isn't intimidated by her success or trying to compete with her. He's willing to be part of the spectacle in whatever way makes sense. Section 8. The engagement announcement. On August 26, 2025, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce announced their engagement to the world with a joint Instagram post. The post included photos of the proposal and showed off Taylor's engagement ring, which was designed by Kindred Lubeck of Artifacts Fine Jewelry. The ring features an elongated old mine brilliant cut diamond, flanked by smaller diamonds on each side, all set in custom engraved yellow gold. Jewelry experts estimated the ring cost somewhere in the seven-figure range, with the center diamond alone being between 10 and 12 carats. The caption on their joint Instagram post was pure Taylor Swift, charming and clever and perfect for social media. They wrote, "Your English teacher and your gym teacher are getting married," playing on the fact that Taylor is known for her lyrical storytelling and literary references while Travis is an athlete. The caption went viral immediately, with fans and media outlets sharing it everywhere, and celebrities commenting with congratulations. Taylor appeared on New Heights podcast for the first time on August 13th, 2025, and during that 2-hour episode, she talked about how significant the podcast had been in their relationship. She joked that the podcast was Travis's personal dating app, since his July 2023 episode about trying to give her the friendship bracelet was what initially brought them together. That appearance on New Heights was a big deal because Taylor rarely does podcast interviews, and it showed how comfortable she'd become with Travis's world and his platform. Section 9 Wedding Planning in December 2025. As of right now in late December 2025, Taylor and Travis haven't publicly announced a specific wedding date, but multiple sources and reports have indicated they're planning for 2026. According to a report from Page 6 in early December 2025, Taylor has put down a significant deposit to secure the Ocean House in Watch Hill, Rhode Island, for Saturday, June 13th, 2026. The date is obviously significant because 13 is Taylor's lucky number, and she's been obsessed with numerology her entire career. The Ocean House is a glamorous Victorian-style hotel in Rhode Island, located near Taylor's famous holiday home, where she's hosted 4th of July parties with celebrities for years. The venue makes sense because it's a place that's meaningful to Taylor and Travis. They've spent time there together, and it offers the kind of privacy and security that a wedding of this magnitude would require. According to the Page 6 report, another couple had already booked the venue for that date, and Taylor allegedly offered them a large check in exchange for them giving up their reservation, which they apparently accepted. Sources close to the couple told Us Weekly on December 17th, 2025, that Taylor has been intentionally slowing down this holiday season to savor the time with Travis and their families. The source said, "This is her favorite time of year with the holidays and her birthday, and she has been purposely savoring this holiday season. She's been cooking, spending time with family, and carving out space to enjoy being engaged." Taylor spent her 36th birthday on December 13th, 2025, privately, but she was spotted the next day on December 14th at Arrowhead Stadium, watching Travis and the Chiefs play the Los Angeles Chargers. She brought her mother Andrea and her brother Austin with her, and they sat in a suite with Travis's family, including his brother Jason, Jason's wife Kylie, their daughters, and Travis's mother Donna. Videos from that game showed Taylor interacting with Jason and Kylie's young daughters, and she looked completely comfortable and integrated into the Kelce family dynamic. Section 10, Their Christmas 2025 Plans. Travis and the Kansas City Chiefs have a home game on Christmas Day 2025 against the Denver Broncos, which means Taylor and Travis are spending their first Christmas as an engaged couple in Kansas City. According to sources who spoke to Us Weekly in mid-December, their holiday plans are very low-key, family-centric, and won't involve any major travel. This makes sense given that Travis has to play, and Taylor has made it a pattern this season to only attend home games at Arrowhead Stadium rather than traveling to away games, partly for security reasons and partly to maintain some privacy. A source told Page 6 back in October 2024 that Taylor's security concerns have shaped her game attendance decisions. The source said, "She's not going anywhere unless she knows the venue intimately, and it has been thorough." Conclusion. 45 seconds. So Taylor Swift was reluctant to date Travis Kelce, not reluctant to marry him. Her reluctance came from preconceived ideas about athletes and genuine doubt about whether they'd be compatible. And it took her mother Andrea playing matchmaker and basically telling Taylor, "You gotta start doing something different for this relationship to even have a chance to begin." The fact that Taylor, one of the most famous people on the planet who writes songs about love for a living, needed her mom's intervention to start dating the person she'd eventually get engaged to is one of the most unexpectedly relatable parts of this entire story. What The End of an Era shows is that even Taylor Swift, despite all her success and fame and experience with relationships, still needed encouragement to take a risk on someone outside her usual type. Travis Kelce turned out to be exactly what she needed. Someone who understood the demands of a massive public career, who wasn't intimidated by her success, and who was genuinely interested in being part of her world, rather than competing with it or resenting it. The wedding will happen on June 13th, 2026, assuming the current plans hold, and it will almost certainly be the celebrity wedding of the decade. What do you think about Andrea Swift playing matchmaker and basically creating this entire relationship by pushing Taylor to give Travis a chance? Do you think Taylor and Travis would have gotten together without Andrea's intervention? Or would Taylor have just dismissed the friendship bracelet story as a cute publicity moment and moved on? Let me know in the comments, and if you want to keep up with Taylor and Travis as their wedding approaches in 2026, make sure to subscribe so you don't miss any updates.